Gerontology. The often neglected concerns about aging. Aging is the most natural process of life, yet it is the least understood. Aging, in a general sense, is the passage of time and increase in years. Viewed in this chronological sense, even a child is considered to be aging as the days pass by. This first aging process is analogous to the phase of ascending the hill of life, a process which needs care and every support to reach the pinnacle. However, when issues of aging are discussed, emphasis is almost always on biological or gerontological aging, which refers to the later life phase where frailty or age-associated health challenges appear. This can be likened to the phase of descending the hill of life, again, needing extreme care and support. So life can be described as a journey from dependence through independence to another phase of dependence. Aging does not leap on us. It stealthily creeps on us and only becomes noticeable when certain systems of the body begin to show signs of strain. Until this second dependency phase arrives, it is hardly of any concern while we navigate life to the pinnacle of vitality in the first phase. Yet, the distance between the two phases of dependence is only as long as the distance, in time, between yesterday and today. Thus, when I review my almost 75 years on Earth, it is just like yesterday, fresh in my memory. Then, I wonder how my youthful good looks have turned, seemingly overnight, to the frailty and wrinkles I now feel and observe. Discussions and concerns about aging often focus on biological factors such as frailty, mobility challenges, and age-related diseases like dementia, heart failure, arthritis, diabetes, Parkinson's, and the like. But aging isn't just about adding years and managing the attendant biological challenges. It is social, psychological, financial, and spiritual. In this video, we will explore the non-medical concerns, the deeper struggles that touch on identity, belonging, and dignity, issues often left out in mainstream discussions. Let's begin with loss of identity and purpose. One of the greatest challenges in old age is the quiet question on the mind of the elderly. Who am I now? Old age comes with, among others, retirement and disengagement from career and parenting roles, leaving the elderly transited from the extremely busy schedules when time was a scarce resource to be judiciously managed to a season of life when time suddenly becomes so overabundant that he or she wonders what to do with it. There are also the subtle but pervasive issues of ageism, the stereotyping, the prejudices and discrimination elders face. They are often considered out of touch with present technology and realities irrespective of whatever value they represent. Let me share with you 3 examples. If you were directed to an eatery, but you discover, on getting there, that the owner-cum-waitress is a wrinkled old woman, would you sit down and order for food? I suppose not. But why? Let me have your comments below. While you figure out the reasons for your answer, here is the second example. Recently, I told a young owner of a cyber cafe my desire to learn some additional digital skills. He looked at me, frowned, and asked, "What do you need it for?" His tone of voice and facial expression attracted other young people around, who also began to make jest of my desire, which they considered obviously absurd given my age. Now, to the third example. A very well-respected preacher in Nigeria, who has spent all his life building a church organization from scratch to its present global reach, has been inundated with questions from congregants about who will succeed him as leader and general overseer. In an emotion-laden sermon recently, he voiced his concern by asking the congregation, "Why this pressure? Are you tired of me?" This psychological transition from being needed to feeling dispensable is profoundly unnerving but rarely addressed. These issues strip the aged of purpose, leaving them with the question of what more there is to live for. Now, let's talk about connection, loneliness, and social isolation. Loneliness is one of the most silent killers in old age. When children have grown and moved, spouse and friends pass away, the social circle of the aged begins to shrink. Creating a new social circle is often a difficult task, if not impossible, for the elderly due to intergenerational disconnect and prejudices of young people. This results in emotional emptiness, a yawning gap that leaves the elderly feeling robbed of life's social wealth, utterly abandoned, and rejected by a generation that considers him or her a burden or, at best, a misfit. The elderly also begins to internalize this feeling of being a misfit and to show signs of cognitive decline and subtle withdrawal from people. When this happens, it signals a complex dimension to managing the aging process. What about dependency and dignity? Aging often comes with a growing dependence on others for vital functions of life. These functions range from financial and physiological support to support in bridging noticeable technology gaps. For instance, most people go online today to place order and pay for goods from the comfort of their homes. But the elderly must face the rigors of going to a bank branch to queue up for even the most basic banking transactions. They feel totally excluded from modern life and must depend on someone else to perform basic functions of life. This loss of autonomy leads to a feeling of utter dependence and loss of dignity. Imagine a former army general, now feeble, and faces the reality that he must wait for someone to help him move around, even within his residence. Imagine the feeling of being drained of the dignity he once enjoyed. Now, to the final questions on the mind of the aged. Where do we go from here? What lies beyond our existence in this realm? Conversations with the elderly in many cultures often avoid questions about legacy, death, and the hereafter. These are, however, the ultimate burning issues on the mind of the elderly. The generality of mankind often parry these questions for the fear of dabbling into explaining their religious connotations. Yet, life's true meaning and significance are derived only from right answers to these questions. The void created by such unanswered questions is often the source of avoidable anxiety and fear of death among people, especially the aged. But life, after all its toils, need not end in anxiety and fear. So, what should the elderly do to help preserve their connections, purpose, dignity, and peace? I suggest the following. 1. The elderly should get engaged in community and religious groups and clubs, including online communities, to foster friendship and maintain a sense of belonging. Caregivers, including children of the aged and the general public, should train and help connect them to social media platforms like the Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and so on. Connecting them to relations and friends via video calls can be fun that could generate lots of excitement for the aged. 2. Elders should note that every external support, including social security benefits, gratuities, and pension, which they receive during this phase of life, are only akin to maintenance rations, a terminology used in agricultural science to refer to care given, not to promote growth, but merely to prevent or slow down the process of deterioration. The growth ration, the drive for something new, something to strive to accomplish, can only come from within you. View retirement as a new beginning, the beginning of a new phase of life. Therefore, set new goals for yourself to the end of life's journey. Daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly growth goals restore good sense of purpose, generate excitement, and have salutary effects on vitality and longevity. Let there be something you are looking forward to achieving, a new skill, a new hobby, a new literature to read, etc. Psychology has shown that novelty and challenge activate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the hormone that makes a person strive to repeat actions which bring success. 3. Foster family relationships by staying in touch with family members through regular telephone calls, visits, family meetings, and ceremonies. Forgive both yourself and others of the errors of the past. 4. Take part as volunteers in cultural mentorship programs to help pass down wisdom and life experiences. Volunteer to take a teaching assignment in a school on a subject of interest. I do teach, not necessarily to earn any financial gratification, but as a duty to the next generation. Often, younger people may want to sign you out. But, you know you have a goal, so sign yourself in. 5. Document life stories and experiences by writing or recording life memoirs, sharing life lessons with upcoming generations. 6. Engage in physical activities such as regular exercises to keep the body fit. Stretch, take a walk, and regularly do light exercises indoors and outdoors. 7. Maintain dignity through self-care. Elders should attend regular health checkups, proper hygiene and grooming. This is not the time to keep your best clothes locked up somewhere. Adorn yourself with them. Feel good in them. 8. Engage in purposeful leisure and meaningful hobbies like gardening and learning of new cooking skills. Veer into certain subject areas outside your field of study just to gain some knowledge of those spheres. 9. Add some play and fun to life. Play isn't childish. It's medicine. It can add a vital spice to life. Generate excitement for yourself. We can't overemphasize this. You may not dance in the rain, but occasionally dance in your sitting room or bedroom before a mirror. Improvise a comedy, then laugh at yourself. It may sound silly, but it's all part of what you must feed your mind with. Your life is, strictly speaking, yours. Live it to the fullest. 10. Connect with divinity, the creator that structured the cosmos in which we live, the galaxies we talk about in science. He has not really been far from you. He has been your invisible guide and pillar of support to date. Perhaps you never paid enough attention to his promptings. Now, it's time to do so. Join others of like faith in spiritual practices such as prayer and meditation. Far beyond any other connection, this will lead you into a deeper understanding of your origin and destination, conquer anxiety and ignite deep-seated peace. In conclusion, gerontology is more than the science of aging. It is the art of honoring life in its final chapters and adorning life's cake with the best possible icing. To preserve purpose is to keep the elders useful. To preserve connection is to keep them included. To preserve dignity is to honor their choices. And to preserve divinity is to help them be at peace with the Creator. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more insightful videos.